Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. Okay, let's see what I got for you right now. Now, if you were raised in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, and you're quite fond of cars, and you don't recognize this model, you must be living under a rock. Just kidding. I just had to say that because this car is truly an 80s German car to remember. If one of the 80s cars that stands out for me from Germany will be this specific model. And in this color, I think was the best looking. And when I was looking at this model specifically, I wanted it this one specifically because the hubcaps, those are the ones that I remember specifically as I was growing up from when I see them. Now let's give this car a proper presentation. What I got for you right now. Let me not start again. What I got for you right now, it's a 143 scale 1984 Mercedes Benz 300E. I know my friends from Germany, the people that follow my channel, they probably don't remember these cars a lot with they were used a lot with the taxi. I saw in Germany a lot of videos they used these cars as taxis back in the days. And this car was really an example of 80s elegance. I just find it really, really good looking. Now, just so you know, this Mercedes E Class, let me tell you exactly what. Okay, this basically was built between night. Okay, model years was actually between 1986 till 1995. Now the coupe and the convertible were extended until 1997. Even though the base says 1984, that's the production year. That's when it was produced. And they started producing these models back in November 1984. So basically, this is a model that lasted for over 10 years into the mid 90s. But this one specifically, it was the earlier ones that came out. Okay? Let me read this real quick. It says the Mercedes Benz W124, which was the code for this model, is a range of executive cars from 1984 to 1997. It included numerous body configurations. They had the saloon, which was the sedan, the state, which was a station wagon, the coupe, the cabriolet, the limousine, and it says here also the rolling chassis, which is a long wheelbase of rolling chassis. What do they mean by rolling chassis? I'm not fully sure what that is. Now let's talk about engines. But before I go to engines, I want to let you know the assembly lines. They have one in Germany, which is their motherland, in Poland, in South Africa, in India, in Mexico, in Indonesia, and in Malaysia. Okay. Now, engines. Let's see. There's quite a few different engines. I see here they got a 4 cylinders. They had a 6 cylinders and a 8 cylinders. On the diesel ones, let's give it details. On the 4 cylinders, you had a 2.0, a 2.2, and a 2.3. On the 6 cylinders, you had a 2.6, 2.8, 3.0, 3.2, 3.4, and a 3.6. This must be a 3.0 because the 300, usually the number, it shows you more or less what is the size of the engine. And then the V8 was a 4.2, 5.0, and a big one was a 6.0 V8. Now, diesel engines, you had a four cylinder 2.0, you had a five cylinder. Five-cylinder engines, they're not very common. Usually, only the few brands that I see making five-cylinder engines was Audi, Mercedes Benz, Volvo, and I don't recall. Not sure about Volkswagen. Well, Audi is part of Volkswagen, so I'm sure Volkswagen had them too. All right, going back to the engines, I stayed in a five cylinder, which is a 2.5, and the six cylinder diesel engines were a 3.0. Transmissions, you had a four speed or a five speed automatic, or you had a manual four speed or a five speed manual. Now, the difference in a four speed from a five speed, obviously beyond the extra speed on the manual gear, you also had on the four speed a floor or a column gear where you could uh, change the transmission in the vehicle, not change the gears. That's what I meant to say. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let this car go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. This is really a good looking Mercedes. I'm not gonna get tired of saying it. For me, I'm not a crazy fan of Mercedes. I like Mercedes, and I'm not gonna deny they're one of the most luxurious brands ever made. They can challenge almost any brand out there how to make a good quality luxury car. But this one right here is really, for me, one of the stands out in the whole Mercedes history. For me, maybe I'm just exaggerating, but it is quite a nice looking diecast. All right, guys, don't forget to give me a beautiful thumbs up. Thank you so much again. I appreciate that. And comment below what you guys think about these Mercedes Benz. Do you remember them? Were they sold in your country? Were they popular? Were they reliable? Let me know where you guys are from and everything. And don't forget to click and subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button that will remind you when I'm posting more videos. Take care of yourselves, as I always say, more than ever, and goodbye.